This is Eric Knigge for AD470 Spring 2023. My group took a look at the Seattle pet license data, and in this data, there's information on the license issue date, license number, animal name, species, primary breed, secondary breed, and zip code. And as a general overview, we started with looking at just the data, what it looked like. We started to explore trends and bring in other data. We played around with visualizations, and I ended up finishing with what I thought would be the most challenging task, which was creating a dashboard. So let's look into that. So some of the first things I looked at were what what were some general trends we could learn from this data. One is that dogs are much more popular than cats. The ratio is about 2 to 1, and we also looked at the registrations by year, whether that changed, and that didn't. One thing that surprised us was that even though the data said it went back to 2015, 2016, there really wasn't a lot of data for that time period. So for whatever reason, it started being more prevalent in 2021 forward. This shows the registrations by dog and cat by year. This is a cumulative registrations. We also looked at what are the most popular breeds. No surprises here, but interesting just to see that validated by some of the data here. So retrievers, German Shepherds, Terriers, Poodles, they're popular. And for the cat breeds, they just separate those by the type of hair on the animal. We also looked at the dog to cat ratio by zip code, and not shown here is the density of these zip codes as far as land use, but this is more or less what we expected, is the areas that are more dense, there people are more likely to have a cat than a dog, and that wasn't too surprising, but it was good to validate that trend with data. I also did a natural language analysis on the names of the different animals. And what I learned is that more people name their cats an unknown name. And unknown could be something like Biscuit, Fluffy, and those aren't associated with a particular gender. And that's more likely to happen for male cats than for male dogs. And that's the real difference in this chart. And it's not clear to me why that would happen, but that's just a trend we followed. So we also looked at the geospatial information. A couple people in my group used Tableau for that, but I wanted to use GeoPandas just because it's a free software and something that I could see myself using in my workplace or for my own purposes later. So I spent some time reading about it, the different structures, how to import data, how to import shape files, the different types of analyses you can run on that. This one is the pet registrations over total population. So is there a correlation whether there are fewer people in an area to how many pets there are, and if there's more people in areas? So in a way, this is a pseudo measure of density. The next graphic is an actual measure of land use and housing density. That's more or less the same. No really strong trends here. Similar for whether owner occupied housing versus renter occupied housing, whether that had an impact on pet ownership, whether home value had a pet on ownership. So maybe a home that was more expensive had a bigger yard, more space, people were more likely to own pets. What we found is that there was really no correlation for any of those. So I didn't pursue that any further. And finally, I ended the quarter with looking at this technology called Dash. It uses Plotly graphics and React components, but it's all wrapped up in Python code. So what's nice is that you're able to work in a single language to do all of your data analysis and to create these very nice interactive graphics. So one example here is that I can show the top 5 dog breeds very quickly. I could show the top 10, and in the back end, the software is running the different types of analysis and callbacks and then sending that to the graphics library and updating the interface. This next graphic is a little bit more complex. It has 2 items. So if I wanted to look at June to December for the number of pet registrations. I can interact with the slider and the checkbox and pull that information very quickly. I can export the chart, zoom in. So I found these libraries really powerful. Maybe not as easy to learn as Tableau, but something I could see myself using in the future. I appreciate the opportunity to explore and try different things this quarter, and thank you for watching this video, and take care.